Hello, this is Dave, and welcome to Equities Story. And with the obviously the one and only amazing Mr. Wolf, and this is just a general share advice and not personal. And Wolfie, what a splendid job you did last week! Absolutely fantastic, absolutely brilliant job. And it's not easy actually doing Ask the Analyst all on your own. There's a lot of questions, trying to read the fundamentals and look at the charts, and absolutely amazing job. So well done there, Wolfie.
Thank you. Somebody's got to, stand up and be counted.
They do. Now, Wolf, let's get going. But can we talk about 88? Because you know what?
Start with the good or the bad?
I want to start with the good, man. Come on.
Right.
It's it's Monday morning. Look at that buy signal at 9:30 and bang, right?
Yep.
That's just crazy, absolutely crazy. And up 18% today, and huge growth in revenue. Come on, talk us about it. We're all interested.
Yeah, look, obviously the results were pretty strong. The thing is with the charts just told you last week, because it was a really poor week last week, yet it's almost finished on its highs for the week last week. That is a great indicator that the expectations were actually pretty good for this week. So I know normally in these markets, when there's a lot of results coming through, it's risky, because we've seen some that that didn't quite live up to expectations, and down they go from 10%. So rather than take the risk, we'd rather buy it on a result. And this result was very, very, very good from the revenue point of view. So the financial side of that stuff was really on the up for me. I thought, wow, this is impressive stuff, right? Everything that you needed to hear from them, such as good revenue growth, profitability, cash flow positive, all those sort of things, fantastic, right? And then you go, okay, so what is the outlook like? Because that's where a lot of these companies fall down with. And surprisingly enough, they're talking about, they're actually looking to grow even further over the next year. And in fact, they're talking about doubling their revenues over the next couple of years, right? This is music to everyone's ears. So you want to be sort of on this bandwagon and see how far you can take this. It is not a cheap stock, but it's an exciting enough with a very interesting market share of, pretty much all to themselves. So yeah, look, I'm looking forward. I think you probably have to ride this somewhere along the line, whether you buy it now, whether you buy it later. I mean, this is probably up to the individual investors and traders out there, but definitely a story that you want to be following, because there's a lot of positivity here.
Do you have a PE on this, Wolfie, or?
It would have been. Let me just have a look. Just bring up the announcement if you can, and we'll see what we can find on that. But I'd say that let me just have a look if they come up with actually a slight little profit this financial year. So just give me a sec. Profits. I'm just going to go down to the actual announcement on the bottom. Just give me one moment. I love when you throw things like that when I'm not prepared. It's really good. And now I have to talk about maybe their lionesses, because obviously I can't believe you didn't even talk about them. Because if they did win, Dave, I would have been like, I would never hit in the end of it. You would have been just going on and on and on and on about it. Insufferable. It would have been insufferable, Dave.
Niño, ha vivido en España por mucho tiempo, eh? Like, come on, if someone's going to beat England, I lived in Spain a long time. My family all living in Spain, so man, I couldn't lose. And did you hear that? Poor girl, the one that scored, her father died the day before.
Oh, really?
They didn't tell her till after the game. So how can you begrudge her scoring the winning goal in a World Cup final? Come on.
Yeah, well, look, I don't, and I think for me, I think they're better team one.
I do. I thought they were better.
All right, let me just give you that now that we've had a little bit of a digress from. I found the numbers, so let me put that in for you. Also, order trading. Let's say $12. Yep. So $12 divided by 0.3075. So they're trading on 87 times, Dave. So it's not cheap by any imagination. But you know what? We've seen some of these stocks trade on a 50 plus valuations, and it hasn't really bothered the investment fraternity out there. So I think that will probably go up even further with, well, not the actual PE, but the EPS, the earnings per share should go up further over the next couple of years if they keep going with this nice rate of growth. But you are going to be paying substantial price for this at this current stage. So for me, I'd rather buy it close to the trend lines, to be honest. But there's really strong momentum behind the story.
Okay. That's talk about hedging your bets. So
yeah, look, for me, I wouldn't buy it at the moment. That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't buy it at the moment from fundamental point of view. I'd rather wait for a pullback.
And if you're in this, you'd be looking to lift your stop.
Yeah, for sure. Because it could keep going for a little while yet. I mean, this is the thing. It's you're in a point of inflection here. A really good result. It could go higher. We've seen some of these stocks really keep going. But maybe if you don't have it, then you probably go, well, let's just wait for a better moment in time.
Yeah, I think if you're a short-term trader, I think you're taking a profit as well, Wolfie, aren't you?
Fair enough.
Right, ALD.
Yep.
I think they reduced their dividend slightly, didn't they?
Yeah, because the profits were backwards, right? So from that point of view, it's actually the result wasn't too bad. It was okay-ish. They had a problem with Lytton, so there's a big write-off in there. What it was, because the profits were actually significantly lower than previous ones, they dropped the dividend, but it wasn't as much as maybe the market expected. So it's actually not too bad. And overall, remember, the infrastructure that they've got is very, very good. However, for a dividend story, great. For someone maybe looking for a story to buy for a longer term type period, maybe you'll probably find something somewhere else.
Okay. Let's go to A2 Milk.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Wolf, below the trend line, it was looking absolutely terrible.
Yep.
And
doesn't look much better, does it?
I'll
tell you what the problem with A2M is China. That's pretty much it, Dave. I talked about China last week in at length. While you were away, I was just going, China's going to kill us. With their problems over there because we're so intricately linked. And A2M today came and said, look, China's a problem child and we've got no growth next year, blah, blah, blah. It's a sell. It's a sell.
Well, it was never a buy.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
If you got it, obviously, you don't touch it. But if you had it for some strange reason, get out.
Wolfie, just look at there's some insurers here, IAG, which had a great run, a bit of profit taking. Yep. That announcement good enough for this to hold?
Okay, look, I don't follow the story super closely. I mean, I've got enough things on my head. AIG should performing okay in this sort of environment, or expecting well in this environment. So for me, I'm expecting this to bounce back from that 550 and go up higher. And this result, it sort of gives you that confidence that it should not fall below 550 in a short term.
Well, if I had this NHF, which is definitely chart of the day so far, if it looks like this by the end of the week, you got to like it. Again, superb looking chart.
Yeah, not bad, is it? It's looking all right. The result was okay. Again, another one that in the insurance space, even though this is private health insurance, it's still a decent story and they should be making substantial margins when they are.
All right, just go quickly. We've got a bank, a lot of people in the banks. I mean, again, these are just sideways stories, dividend.
Yeah, Dave,
boring.
My call was, if you're going to be looking at a dividends in banks, stick to CBA, take the haircut on the dividend, but you've got a bloody much better bank.
Okay, BSL, I think they're spending some money on their plant. Yep. A good move, Wolf, or I suppose it's going to cost them a lot of money, isn't it?
It will, but they're shoring up the future here. So at the end of the day, you've got to sometimes take the short-term pain for long-term gain. So I don't mind it, but for me, this story is just like one year they got 3 billion in profit, the next year they got minus -1 billion in loss, right? So for me, it's just a very difficult stock.
All right, but that chart still looks okay, right?
Yeah. So if you understand the story, you'll probably be okay trading it, of course.
RWC, market not liking that at all, down 7%.
Yeah, look, I'm expecting more because the chart was telling me that they're going to coming up with a decent result, but they actually haven't. I went through it. Very poor, Dave. Very poor. There's really not much growth. I've gone backwards in a few places, and then they, talking about the one of the best markets is sort of going. Bleh. So at the end of the day, I think they were scared to give us any sort of indication of where they're actually heading next year, and it gets punished. So for me, REH much better.
Well, for OCL, you know, historically one of the better stories on our market, right? The market is not like that at all today.
No, Dave, and you know, we're expecting a little bit of a weaker result this year, right? They gave that, but the problem was they didn't give any indication what's happening next year. So no guidance whatsoever. I think the market's a little bit nervous, to be honest. You know, you've got to give something, and there's actually a bit of no guidance for a lot of companies today that I've went through. So there's a little bit of nervousness in FY24, I have to say. But I tell you what, I still love the company. There was, like I said, there's not much growth this year at all. In fact, it was flat as a tack, EPS wise, and without giving any guidance whatsoever. You'd probably be nervous, very nervous with this, because it's expensive. That's the problem.
Right. So it's a sell.
Yeah.
It just hasn't delivered.
No.
Disappointing. So
yeah, next year, we never know. They could, by the end of next year, right? This time next year, they could be on the way back up again because they're going to give us a bit of a guidance and things are going to return back. That's when you get in. But for the moment, definitely out, and you got to sell it if you win it.
All right, BRG, up 16%. Wolf. I mean, it's been on outsides the last few weeks, looking good. And
I have this day. I'm not a huge fan of retailers, but you know what? This is one of those companies that it's got a great management because they can work magic with not much, right? And in a retail space that's really difficult, they've come up with a decent result, so growth, and they gave actually an outlook saying we're going to grow next year. It doesn't matter what you throw at us, we're going to grow. That's all you need to hear, especially in a retailer. I'll take it. So that's why the market's probably going, well, great. I think if I'm looking at retailers, anything that might catch my eye, this is definitely one of them. It's probably my top 5 retailers.
God, you changed your tune. You didn't like this a few weeks ago.
No, I don't mind this, but what changed my mind is the fact that they work magic with not much, and they still are happy enough to come up with a guidance for you, right? Show me another one in retailers that does that. None.
Yeah,
you got to give them some credit, right?
Yeah, and good quality products as well.
Yeah, and they keep innovating, coming up with new stuff. So they're always sort of trying to beat the expectations out there.
Yeah, I would say with OCL, if anyone's in there, just wait to see where it ends maybe the week or the day before you sell it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, David. That $12 could be your bounce, sort of, right? We've seen it before, right?
Yeah. ADH. Wolf, Ades, it's interesting. Look, it's been in a downward slump, and the charts were telling it all. And where Nick Scally was looking good and a great announcement, ADH.
Bring out the announcement, Dave, because this is what I'm telling you about. The tell of two companies, with BRG giving you an outlook that looks positive versus Ades, and just bring out that announcement because I'll show you why it's down 10%. And that's why you got to be, you got to pick them very, very carefully. Just keep going down until you get to the first, I think, 6 weeks, I think they're talking about, right? So just keep going down, and you just go, oh my God, you've got to get out of this. Keep going down. There'll be a little table showing you where they're at the moment.
Okay, just say
going down. That's all right. You'll get, there we go. Outlook. Here we go. Group trading update, Dave. You'd go like that, and you go, all right, I'm out. Right. I mean, 10% across the board. When you've got stuff that's actually still eking out a small little profit small little growth. Yeah, I'd probably go. No, it's probably not the right time to be in this stock right now.
Well, I mean, what about the Aussie dollar collapsing as well? I mean,
yeah, well,
look, I mean, I think that most of what they import nearly everything. This
is the problem, right? If you are an importer, you'd be struggling, right? If you are exporting stuff, you're obviously being going quite well. But saying that, yeah, look, this is why it's such a difficult period right now to some of these stories, and trying to find stories that actually do okay, especially in the retail space. We know the retail space are not going great because we've seen the retail numbers. So you just got to be very, very careful.
Right. This chart looks terrible. Elders, Wolf, it's
downgrade, Dave. Downgrades, you sell.
Absolutely horrendous. And again, just shows the danger of trying to pick bottoms, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Let's have a look at XRF, Wolf, because this story's held trend really, really well. What did you make of that announcement?
Yeah, look, it was good. Again, they didn't provide any guidance whatsoever, right, for FY24, which is, I think that's, it's holding a lot of stocks back. If you don't give any guidance whatsoever, you're going to be probably moved on. Someone's going to just sell and go, I'm going to move on to something else. Look, a decent result, no doubt. I think the bottom line and EPS grew about 25% odd. So from that point of view, you still got to like it. But without any guidance, but maybe some people just taking a profit and moving on. But I still, if you're in this, maybe you'll probably just hold it still.
PMV, Wolfie. Again, they've got some quality stores, haven't they? Quality businesses, and you've always talked about this being your the biggest quality retailer. Did they deliver for you?
I'm intrigued because there's a lot of announcements today from PMV, right? So there's three things. So they've updated the market, how they're going. Then they gave that the CEO is stepping down immediately, right? And the third thing, they are going through the whole businesses and doing a strategic review, right? So you think, oh my God, what the hell is going on with PMV here, right? There's a lot of things going on today. So when you extrapolate all the data, you think to yourself, okay, what they want to do, which they talked about, they're looking at actually a demerger, Dave, possibly, right? Because they've got this Peter Alexander that's going very, very well. They've got Smiggle that's going pretty well. And they've got these other businesses that are not that going that greatly. So I think they want to separate the good stuff from the bad stuff. And that's why the CEO quit and they've installed someone else in there. So I'm intrigued to see how they go. But obviously the market's looking at this very positively, right? Where if they can get rid of the crap, they're going to be just stuck with the really good brands. And I think, why not? Why not? So look, for me, and not a bad update today either, Dave, from all up. So I think this is a good announcement from PMV, as you can see why the market's sort of getting excited about it. But I'd still wait into the week before I get in.
Well, they've got sort of Peter Alexander, the pajamas, which are huge, and Smiggle. So they've got some amazing brands.
Well, Dave, what they're talking about this Peter Alexander, they're looking to expand internationally and actually, rolling out the stores. This is exactly what you want to hear. This could be a genius stroke. So this is why the market's getting excited.
Right. Okay. Let's have a look at SPZ. Smart Parking, Wolf. It's again another one that had a breakout. It's been looking good for the last 3 or 4 weeks, hasn't it?
Look, I have to say, I've never been a huge fan of this company, but you got to give them some credit because the announcement wasn't too bad today with growth all around. Especially the bottom line grew about 400% or something like that, right? So all up, really interesting company in the parking space. And, I went to the Westfield Shopping Centre about 2 weeks ago to get something. And I had to already pay like bloody $4 for 3 hours. I mean, what the hell's going on around here? You never used to pay for parking at a bloody shopping centre, and now you do. So there's something about SPZ, but maybe they're onto something. Look, to be honest, I have to have a look at it again to see whether it makes sense as an investment. So I'm writing this one down, Dave. So let's not get into it yet. Let me just go through some of these numbers.
All right, the infamous AMP. Still too soon.
Yep. Interesting that they just settled $110 million worth of class action, Dave. Oh God! And they say we don't. I think admit liability. Well, what are you just giving $110 million just for fun? I mean, some of these companies, I tell you what, we don't admit it. No. You're just a charity. $110 million just like that. Thanks.
All right. EOL, Wolfie.
Cybersecurity, unfortunately, event, Dave. So look, unfortunate. If you've got a company that's going to be hit by cybersecurity, you're probably going to feel some short-term pain. There you go. I think it's a little bit early to know what the impact's going to be like. I think they are trying to obviously get information together as much as they can. And I know it's one of Claude's favorites. But short term, obviously 10%, understandable knee-jerk reaction. So let's just see how it settles by the end of the week. Yeah,
Wolf. Historically, you've seen those sort of cyber attacks have often been an opportunity to buy the stock, haven't they?
Yeah, possibly. The problem with I just want to see their results as well before we get into it. So, there's two things. Definitely, you're absolutely right. We've seen with NPL, with some of the others, right? The big security events. just went down and then bounced very, very quickly, very hard, right? So there potentially could be a great opportunity here, but just wait for the results as well before we get it too excited.
Right, we've got NHC.
Look, a decent result. I've been reading about some information about WHC, right, where they are trying to buy BHP's 2 mines in Queensland, and there's some resistance to that from some shareholders. The NHC's for me the overall picture is where's the longevity in coal mines? What's the outlook for coal mines? So I'm looking at the longer picture, and I know the short term could be okay still, right? You can probably still make some money on these, but when you see these activist investors and looking at, hang on a second, guys, stop bloody buying more mines and just give the money back to the shareholders, pretty much. So I don't mind it, for a trade here and there, but for me, yeah, I think I'd probably play something else for the moment.
All right. AGI, it's holding up. Ainsworth, the gambling company. So
I love that announcement today. They're talking about Argentina and the inflation. 140%. And look, I'm fascinated by Argentina because I actually read a huge, big article on Argentina on the weekend about it's, pretty much the Argentines are just used to this rampant inflation. They've been used to it for the last 30 years, right? It's been like that for a long, long time. It's just fascinating. I'm always sort of reading about this sort of stuff to see how these deal with it, whether it's a problem, what's going to happen, and the new ways of what people are looking at, how they actually put the money under the mattress instead of the bags. And when AGI comes in, so basically for me, whoever's in Argentina as a business, it's a high risk for me, right? I just wouldn't go there, to be honest. But when AGI comes up and say they've had to, hedge some of these money with FX and so on, it's just a difficult for me, AGI, I have to say. Anyway, that was interesting. Go on, next one.
All right, 2 little sort of specky plays. WA1.
Yep. Good results today again, right? We like this company. It's probably one of our favorites in their spec and resources mining, right? Exploration. Really still good, delivering good results. So thank goodness they come up with something. So at least arrested that sort of decline back to 475. It just needs more of that, right? For it to sort of bounce back further. But in this jittery market right now, I'm not sure how much has it got, how much legs it's got in this.
And of course, AZS, for a lot of people following this, Wolf is in a trading hold.
Yeah, they've come out with some really good, decent results. I think they're raising cash as well at the moment. That's why they're in a trading hold, but really good results. So maybe that's why, very good way of doing it. Here's the results. We want some money off you to drill more of this sort of stuff. Give them at least some credit for that, right? Instead of coming up with money after a really poor result. So good on you. Still good results, like I said, over 100 meters. So for me, AZS is still one of the probably top 3 explorers in Australia at the moment with when it comes to lithium.
All right, Wolfie, what did you come up with on your weekly wrap this week?
Oh God, Dave, it's a very, very good question. What did I come up with this week on? Let me have a look. So I've got my little list here.
Yeah, go on.
Let me see what I did come up with. I think GMG was my best idea for the week.
Okay.
They're going up. Let me have a look. Come on, genius. Yes, come on.
All right. So that's your best idea. Did you? Let me just hang on.
I also had Cochlear, of course, in there because I just thought that was a really nice, really strong movements, right? Out of that. So that's going up as well nicely. So that's okay. My dog of the week was Telstra, Dave.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised when I got back from my long business trip when I suddenly saw that with Telstra. That's really bad price action, wasn't it?
I'll tell you what the problem is. So while the company delivered a decent result, the market didn't really like, because remember they used to talk about, we're going to be a different business. We're going to be more of a technology company. That's why they've changed their names. They demerge some of the business, like the infrastructure. So you know what they've done? They've said, no, we're not going to demerge at all. So basically, nothing's changed. It's still the same. People just want change out of Telstra. Come on. That's why they were sort of doing it.
and you're happy with obviously super retail.
That was pretty good.
Nice dividend story. You, I well said, by the way. Macmillan is looking like you know, it's had a good run, hasn't it?
Yep.
Time to take a few profits. Brickworks, obviously nice looking chart there. Wolf Telstra, get rid of it. Clearview,
Yes.
and you sort of give it another go.
Well, give someone else a go because obviously didn't go last week how we got. It was down 17%, right? Or if anyone bought it last week at these sort of prices, it just didn't work. Even though it's still technically a hold, you could see that, you know, if I had my chance again, obviously choose something else. It's just simple as that.
Car sales, obviously looking very, very good.
Yep.
Cochlear, and your best idea was Goodman.
Yes.
So some good charting there, Wolf.
Okay.
And like normal, because you get your report out very quickly, you steal a lot of the good stocks. But the one
here we go. I knew there's going to be excuses, something that I steal all the good stocks and you're just left with the dregs.
Wolf, but the one I like is funny. It's actually, we are trending this one on Equity Story, and it has a broken trend. And I think, you know, hopefully now it's going to go off and at least get that 340. So hello world.
Yep.
Just right sector.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very strong fundamentals, good announcement. But I like the breakout, Wolf. So this one, the hot stock at
Dave,
the moment.
I love it. I love it. It's a really good story. We talked about it before, right? That, you know, 2 upgrades already, right? So you're picking good fundamentals. I mean, you're obviously starting to learn that fundamentals are important.
Oh well, that to be honest with you, Wolf, it's all about CTM. Good fundamentals, good chart, good sector.
Yep.
You know, the only risk in this one is the general markets, right? And the general markets are obviously looking really, really weak. And if you look, you know, we pointed this out on, you know, if you look at the XGO, it looks absolutely terrible. Even, to be honest, there's the small odds. I mean, look at that. Boom, 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 boom. Talk about a swinging chart downwards. You can't get, you know, that's going to be, you know, it's going to be hard trending this smaller sector, right? It's definitely
100%. You know, we're losing that big box that we need to tick, right?
Yeah, and you look at the Dow, and you look at the Dow's at least coming back down to trend, and you look at and the Nasdaq's had its move. You know, it's on support. Yeah, most probably coming back lower again. So, you know, the market's having a breather. Wolf, the markets look like they're going to go lower, which is going to make short-term trends very, very difficult at the moment.
Yeah. So look, Dave, in summary, best result today by, you know, no shadow of a doubt was 88, right? We want to own this, but we need to just wait for the right moment, I think. The other 2 really big surprises were for me is PMV and Revel, right? 2 retailers really come up with some good stuff. So, you know, at the end of the day, we've got some stories to look forward to maybe the end of the week to see how they're going. I will have a look at SPZ, like I said, to see if there's anything that's could be something for us as an investment. XRF came up with a good result as well, without any outlook, which is, you know, always a little bit maybe negative from there. So yeah, look, a lot of results today, but not many that are fantastic. So 88 is the standout today.
And to look at that little BOE, and I've seen uranium holding up really well, Wolf. And $57 BOE, nice little move. Oh, all right. On that note, Wolfie, thank you very, very much. Thank you for obviously spending all that time going through all the stories, which I don't do anymore in the morning because I'm too busy.
Yeah,
so
it's like going to a restaurant and everything's already on your plate, right? For breakfast.
I know. Hopefully that'll change one day, Wolf. Maybe you'll be doing my role and I can get down to doing what's fun, reading about companies. All right.
Fun would be probably just sitting in front of the TV watching the soccer.
All right. No, the soccer was bad. Wolves were terrible, mate. They're awful. All right. Thank you, mate. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.